Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Matriarch Speaks. My name is Davina Arnus, and I'm the host of the Matriarch Speaks, where we honor of meeting some amazing matriarchs and receive wisdoms of these times we find ourselves in. I'm proud to say that I'm Sikswapmik from the Stishrop Nation and part Honduran. I'm joining you today from the traditional and unceded territories of the Katsi, Kwantlen, and Semiahmoo nations. I wanted to say a big thank you to everyone who's watching right now. We are so grateful you are here. I'd like to invite everyone in the audience to consider the traditional lands that you reside on and give thanks to the traditional caretakers of those lands, past, present, and future. If you don't know the traditional territory that you reside on, I invite you to take some time after the broadcast to find out whose land you are on and what the history of that place is. Let's take 10 seconds now to turn inward and acknowledge the land that each of us are on and the Indigenous people who have and still do live on. Thank you, everyone. I wanted to turn it over to April Bennett for an opening prayer. April is the visionary of Matriarch Speaks and an elder overseeing the project. April is Kwadacha and Danzi on her mother's side and Cree, French, Scottish, Irish on her father's side. She is a bright light in the lives of many. After meeting one of the 13 Indigenous grandmothers a few years ago, April has been called to bring the voices of the matriarch to the world. She has a deep respect for the knowledge that is carried and knows the importance of sharing it on this time on Mother Earth. April Bennett.
Thank you. Thank you. So lovely to be here with you all. And to know that, yes, it's for our matriarchs, but also for our young people, because many of our young people carry wisdom. And it's good for us to keep and notice that and hear them. Okay? Just some of the things that I found came out. I went, wow. So, just to ground ourselves today, and I am speaking from the Coquitlam people, Kukate people, and the Katesy people's lands, and Port Moody. And I'm so honored to be here with the people and doing some of this work. Creator, thank you. Thank you for this day and all that comes with it, all the teachings, all the things that come here. Thank you. Thank you for them. So we will only get better with them. And Creator, please bless Mother Earth, for she provides for our every need, all our water, our medicines, our food, and shelter. Thank you, Creator, for what she gives to us. And thank all the animals that we are on Mother Earth with, because all the ones in the air, all the ones in the sea, the four-leggeds, and the ones in the soil, they are all doing something for Mother Earth. And we learn from each and every one of them. Thank you for Father Sky. Right now, he is bringing us lots of rain. He brings us a lot of changes that are needed for Mother Earth. Thank you again for this little circle before you and all the people that it touches. May we touch and care for people with love and kindness. Thank you, Creator, for this beautiful day. All my relations. Thank you.
Thank you, April. It is my honor to introduce Theresa Fenton-Bob, who we have the gift of hearing from today. Theresa is a sister, auntie, mother, grandmother, and cousin. She is born in the Pavilion, BC, to the late Evelyn Edwards Fenton and Henry Charles Fenton from BC Bar or High Bar, BC. She is married to Chief Daryl Bob of Ban, and together they have 6 sons, 1 daughter, and 20 grandchildren. She has been on a healing journey for more than 40 years to support with the support of the traditional healing and ceremonies. She has come to the understanding that the only one responsible for healing self is self. Sewing is her passion and helps calm her spirits. Her love of sewing began when she saw a grandmother in Montana, US, with a stack of diamonds for a star quilt. sitting on the table in front of her. Upon her return home to Kamloops, BC, she had all the materials for her very first star quilt. Theresa believes in finding a spiritual helper is the first step in learning who we are and reconnecting with our ancestors on Mother Earth. Welcome, Theresa. Thank you for joining us today.
Thank you. Thank you.
There's a lot of people who look up to you and honor the wisdom that you carry, myself included. Can you share with us a little bit about your journey and how you got to where you are today?
Yes, thank you. I'd like Kaswala Pension Shnukwa. Shamat's Theresa Grace Fenton-Bob, spirit name, Two Helping Hands Woman. It's a great honor to be here with you, my brothers and sisters. When one looks or gets triggered of their childhood traumas, that's when one needs to start seeking the help they need to get them out of there, as I did. My first experience of that was when I went to college and I was going in for nursing in Kamloops. And it was actually my English professor that asked me to do a trauma or share a story about a trauma that I experienced and how I healed it. And that's when the door flew wide open and I realized that I never went down that path yet. So it was through a girlfriend of mine. She helped me to go to the sexual assault center in Kamloops. And that was my beginning journey of finding me and healing my little girl within me. And from there, it's through my sister, Matilda Fenton Brown. Our dad and mother were devout Catholics. They both went to the Indian residential school and they both experienced the abuses and the traumas in the residential school. And so when they came home, they knew that going to church was the only way to go because they gotten our culture and spirituality beaten out of them.
Yeah.
So back to when my sister Matilda started her spiritual journey. My first experience of a ceremony was when she brought me to UEP ceremony, and that was in Merritt. And it was the most amazing ceremony I experienced because that allowed me to understand more of who I am and that there is more help out there than what little I had. And from there, I ended up going down to Dakota. I sat on the mountain one night, and then from there, I went to Chelsea, Montana, and I went and experienced my first Sundance.
Mm-hmm.
So, knowing that there's a lot of helpers out there, I knew that my journey was bumpy, but I was still moving forward. And then when I moved back home to Lowell, I got into working with a work spiritual healing or something like that. I can't remember right now. Sorry.
It's okay.
But it's through learning about who we are as Ukomu, our Indigenous people, that really intrigued me because I knew deep inside that, no offense to the Catholic way or the Christian way, but I knew that there was more to me than that.
Yeah.
And my apologies. One day I sat down with our dad and I was honest with him. I told him, for me, the Catholic way isn't my way. that I wanted to follow our ancestors and I wanted to learn to become who they were prior to Columbus stepping on our land.
Yeah.
And he didn't argue with me. He was very supportive and he said, "Thank you for coming and letting me know that." He shared a little bit about how he kept his culture and spirituality alive by building a sweat lodge down by the Fraser River and going in there. Back then, I didn't know much about the sweat lodge, but it was through my walk that I finally was able to experience that.
Yeah.
And first, what I went to was with an elder over in the Chase area, and it was middle winter like this. And he asked me if I wanted, or and he said, I asked him, I go, "Well, how many rocks are you going to bring in?" And he said 102, and that totally hit my core, but it also made me realize that, yes, this is what our people used to do. So I was able to stay through the 4 rounds, and he said if I get too hot, they had their sweat lodge right by the river. He said I could go jump in the river if I needed to.
Yeah.
So that's part of my journey. And the last little while, I went into counseling. I went to Satsalalem, and then I came home and we brought teachers from around the world here in our backyard, and they were teachers for the International Indigenous Leadership Gathering. And I know thousands and thousands of people have sat in our backyard and listened to world-renowned speakers like Lee Brown, Arvo Looking Horse, Captain White Cloud, Dave, the late Dave Corshane, whom we went and spent quite a few years with him after the International Indigenous Leadership Gathering was put away for a while.
Mm-hmm.
And it's through teachings like that that kept me on my journey. And now, and it was through the International Indigenous Leadership Gathering I met Frank Many Horses.
Mm-hmm.
And it was so ironic. My husband had to find helpers and healers to come to the gathering, and he asked me to look some people up. So I was on my laptop, and his name popped up, and his um, bio came along with it. So I read it and I showed it to my husband. I told him that this is a guy that needs to come here because he's going to help our people.
Yeah.
And my first meeting, yeah, my first meeting with him was amazing. The insight on what he's seen in my energy field and what he read about me was amazing. So after that, I found out he lived in Kamloops. So I started um, going over there, and I'd go have one-on-ones with him, and I'd share visions I'd see, or I'd share dreams I had with him, and it was amazing the information that came through him to tell me that what I needed to do with those visions or with those dreams. And so today I still follow a lot of his teachings, even though he's been gone now. He was very intuitive. He was psychic. He'd be able to read your energy. And the best thing about Frank I loved was he had this old blue van, and right on his windshield, he had a little sign about this big, and he had it on about in front of him, and all it said was "smile." And I told him I loved that. I
Yeah.
told him I want one of those, so I got one and I put it on my truck, and I'd go to town, and this one lady, she goes, "There comes the lady with the smile all the time." And I just smile at her, wave. So that's how I became who I am today is through his teachings and through his partner, Barb Moreau.
Yeah.
She helped me as well to become who I am today. And along with that, the natural law of living off the land and walking on the land and feeling Mother Earth and seeing what's out there to help ourselves is what's most important. And I feel
Mhm.
is missing today.
Yeah. I really appreciate you sharing all of that with us. I know it's still a lot of people are still in hurt and pain, a lot from the residential schools, and we're all coming together to build strength and you know go on a journey together. And I really appreciate you sharing that with us today. Um, from what I've been taught, nothing in this world happens for no reason, and everything has a spiritual meaning, purpose, and is guiding us towards something. From your perspective, what hidden meanings might there be behind the challenges that humanity might be facing right now?
The one thing that I keep noticing is that the disconnect from Mother Earth.
Yeah.
Prophecy says that the time's going to speed up, and
Hmm.
it's the ones that get connected to Mother Earth that's when the time will slow right down.
Yeah.
And when you actually ground yourself to Mother Earth and to the ancestors, then the rest of it won't matter. It'll all fall away. So that's one of the feelings I get from what's going on today in the world, along with our connectedness with each other.
Yeah.
Even though in the beginning, the Creator put us into four races and told us the white race is going here, the red race is going there, the black race is going there, and the red race is going there. Prior to that, we didn't have no color. We were all one. So that's
Hmm.
one of the vital important teachings that we need to get inside ourselves to know that when I was living in Kamloops and I didn't have a vehicle then, but I jumped on a community bus and I'd see somebody get on and in my mind I'd say, good morning, brother, good morning, sister. It's having that connection with their spirit and knowing that whether they know it or not, but even with everything on Mother Earth, like when the new plants come out, I'll go out there and I'll reach down and I'll touch the leaves and I'll say, welcome back. Thank you for coming back. And same with the animals. I see the eagles and I'll start talking to them and they respond when I send out my thoughts to them. And same with our domestic cats and dogs, they always come running to me. So they know when you're connected here and here
Yeah.
and to Mother Earth. And they feel that love and that love for ourselves is the most important to have. Without that, we're stuck in all the other emotions that
Yeah.
continue to keep us going in a tailspin, I call it. As my
Yeah.
teacher has told me, have you ever felt that um, a lesson came around and you thought you healed it, but then you walk down maybe 6 or a year from now, and that same lesson comes back around, and you wonder, I thought I just dealt with this, and but it's knowing and having that understanding that what I was taught is that when from 0 to 7, when we came into Mother Earth, we were clean slates. And
Yeah.
it's 0 to 7. The age might be moved up to 11 or 12 now, whoever was in and around us during those times were our first teachers.
Hmm.
Whether it's positive or negative,
Yeah.
we carry that with us in our memory cells.
Wow.
And when you walk the absolute truth of going back and looking at 0 to 12 and healing all those negative aspects that you picked up as a little boy or a little girl, and you let it go, then your little boy or your little girl will start growing up with you. Right now,
Yeah.
my she's about 35. Every now and then I'll go back to my childhood because there's something back there I've forgotten to heal. But as soon as you do the ceremony for yourself of watching the absolute truth, then your lessons or your triggers happen faster, but you can also heal them faster.
Yeah.
So that's one of the tools that I also received from my Frank Many Horses.
Hmm.
And I find that it's one of the old teachings that was forgotten or lost along the way. So the more we share, the more we put it out there, the more we wake people up to help themselves to get back in center, to
Yeah.
know and understand who they are and where they come from.
Yeah. And speaking of tools, what is a practical tool you can offer that to anyone that they can use in their daily lives to support them, and especially during these times?
The one tool that my mentor shared with me is a clearing, and it's I use it in my everyday life whenever I've gone to a funeral services, or it's best to do when you first wake up, or um, so basically it's if you're all watching, you can stand up, and um, where we have shackles and chains around our wrists and around our ankles. So the best thing to start doing is just shake off those shackles and chains. And while you're doing that, you're calling your guides and your angels and come and protect you while you're going to do this clearing ceremony. And also, when you're going to start pulling the energy up, you're going to pull it straight up, and you're going to give it to your angels and your guides and ask them to send it to the creator of all good things so he can put it in a pure healing white light to purify it, heal it, and make it good energy come back down. Give it to the ones that need it, and give it to Mother Earth, because she's going through her own healing at this time. So we'll shake off those shackles and chains. And on our back, we have an energy cord that goes from here down from where am I? Here down to here. So it's basically on a count of 3, we take a big deep breath, I love you in, and we're going to grab that energy cord off the back of our neck, and we're going to throw it straight up. 1, 2, 3. I love you. Ooh, about that one. And then we have an energy cord that runs from here down below to our pubic bone. So basically, we're going to grab that energy cord, and we're going to do the same as we did to the back one. On a count of 3, a big deep breath. I love you in. 1, 2, 3. I love you. Throw it up. And then sometimes there's a sticky old pancake on our heart from too much emotion and not being able to let it go, or just a lot of stickiness happening in your life. So we're going to grab that sticky old pancake off your heart, and we're going to throw that up to our guides and ancestors. On the count of 3, take the big deep breath, I love you in. Ooh, that one. And this one is sometimes we go into big crowds, or sometimes we're around a negative person, and because our light's shining so bright, a energy spirit or a dark spirit, we want to call them, gets attached to us. And sometimes, if you ever felt there's something moving in your belly, that's one of those spirits attached to you. So what I usually do is I go from front to back, and I take a big deep breath, I love you in, and I'll rip that sucker out, and I'll throw them straight up. So I'll grab from front and back. 1, 2, 3, and throw them up. And just to let you know, if you find yourself gauging when you're either pulling off your throat or anywhere, just keep doing it until you feel that energy coming out, because sometimes it may take a few times for you to get it out. And when you finally feel it pop out, then you know you're good and you can go on to the next one. So the next one is your below your belly button. And sorry I'm short, but I'll try and get down a bit here. So here below your belly button, this one, we're going to keep our mouths wide open, and we're going to count to 3. 1, 2, 3. A great big deep breath. I love you in. Leave your mouth wide open and throw it up. This is our power center. This is the one. Have you ever noticed quite a few people, they'll put their hands like this? So this is the one you keep that open to clear that energy center there. And for our root chakra, that's just above the pubic bone. This one, you're going to pull down and throw up. So on a count of 3, a lot of our sisters and brothers that have been sexually abused, they will feel that coming out through their feet, and it's good to do this one to get rid of that energy and those memory cells. So on a count of 3, a big deep breath, I love you in, I love you, pull down, throw up. So that, then you can run your hair, hands through your hair, and just clean off your hair and throw it up. Sometimes we see things, since we were small children right up to today, we see things that wasn't meant for us to see. So we're going to be very gentle. 3, I love you in, and we're going to pull those things we've seen out of our eye memory cells. I love you. I love you. I love you. And sometimes we hear things that we weren't meant to hear because our eyes and ears are so sensitive. We're very gentle on our eyes and our ears. So we're going to pull those memory cells out of our ears, and on a little breath of I love you. And sometimes we may have spoken words, or sometimes we are told to say things from the dark energy that was inside of us. So we're going to pull those out of our mouth as well, so that they're gone as well. So a little deep breath, I love you in, and we're going to pull it out of our mouth. Pull it up. So once we've done that, we did that clearing, we got to hug ourselves and say, I love you, 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 till you feel the hair all over your body standing up, because what we take out, we got to put something good back in. So I love you, I love you, I love you, I love you.
I was joining you. I was here doing what you were doing, and it is much needed. It's much needed. I love the sense of security and just the way you're able to ground yourself and let go, let go of all the negativity. Um, so thank you. I really appreciate you sharing that. Where did you learn that teaching?
I learned that one from Frank Many Horses. He came into our community. I invited him into our community, and he shared that with a group of us community members. And ever since then, I I've been doing it, and I do it when I get out of bed because sometimes we may have had a nightmare, or sometimes we may not have had a good sleep, so we need to clear ourselves. And then sometimes the best place to do it is when you're in your shower. So when you're in your shower, you can reach up to your shower and where your water comes out on your shower head and where you turn your water on, and you can say a little prayer and ask the Creator and Good Grandma and ask Him to bless this water and make it holy water. So once
Mm.
you've made that prayer, and then once you start showering, then you can do the clearing in the shower, and you'll feel it even more in there. So that's another place you could use that. And like I share in groups when they come on the land. When you go to malls and you bump into somebody in the mall, like
Yeah.
I say, they may have not been in a good mind, or they may have been upset, and they see they may have had attachments, so they get attached to you, and you start noticing you're starting to think negatively, and when you get home and you're wondering, Mom, why am I doing this? That's because you picked up their spirit that they had on them. So as soon as you get home, or if you're in public and you feel it on you, the best place to go do this clearing is in the ladies' washroom. You can go in
Oh,
there and do a quick clearing, and yeah, and you're all good again. So, and then big ceremony or big groups like powwows and that, sometimes you may need to clear yourself for that. And like I shared earlier, we just buried a young man, so I came home and I did that clearing to get all that energy off of me. And yeah, it's one of my definite toolbox items I pull out a lot, and I use it a lot, and it's
yeah.
helped me quite a bit.
That's good. I'm really glad to hear that. I'm definitely going to do that in my routine for sure. I use kind of like when I shower as it cleanses my body, getting rid of all that negativity, and I will definitely add that into my routine there too. Because I feel like we all like I feel that like when you do bump into someone or you're surrounding yourself with people with negative energy or like a negative vibe, like you feel like you're getting it on you. So that's why like when I shower, I try to cleanse myself, my eyes, my ears, my mouth, everything that was surrounding me. So I will definitely use this. And again, it's that sense of security that it gave me today. Definitely for sure ground me. But
Thank you.
what's a message you received from one of your elders that you think uplifted your life?
It was actually from the cook in my community whose funeral we also did not too long ago. Um, and I really believe it in my heart is that you never look down on anyone. We're
Hmm.
all equal. We all stand side by side. Even the ones on the downtown east side, you always look at them with love, or you tell them hi, because they're there to teach us a lesson for ourselves. It's to
Yeah.
remind us to stay humble, to, to give them love, to help them by giving them food. Because sometimes we forget about that. And when we come into that situation, we need to be reminded that we're not higher than anybody else. We're
Yeah.
all equal. Like my father used to share with us kids, I don't love any one of you children more than the other. I love you all the same. And that's another one of the best teachings that I receive is when I send out the love to everybody that my eyes are in contact with. I send out all the same amount of love to everybody, knowing that they all receive love.
Yeah.
And even even with what's happening on the other side of the world, I still send Putin love. He's my brother. I will not be angry at him because he's going through a hard time too. He just needs to feel the love energy and to feel the energy around him to shift. Because if we keep sending all the negative energy to him through our negative thoughts, words, and actions, he will stay there. But
Yeah.
once we shift it and we change it, it will shift and change over there.
Yeah.
And that's one of the best teachings that I know. And it's our biggest teachers today are our children that are coming into the world today. There
Yeah.
was a prophecy that said that the children that are coming into Mother Earth now are the ones that are going to help us because of what our parents experienced in the residential school and all the things we have lost. Those ones are going to come down fully gifted and fully intact, and they're the ones that are going to share the things that we may have forgotten.
Yeah.
And I just love it when I listen to children and I listen to them talk. And here's something for you mothers out there. If you got a 2 or 3 or 4 year old, you can sit down and if you hear them talking and if they talk about being here before, you can cue in and you can ask them, when were you here before? Where did you live before? It's like when I was growing up as a little child, my connection was drawn to Mexico and over to Switzerland. So I probably lived
Hmm.
down there and lived over there before because we've come to Mother Earth many lifetimes. Sometimes we have to come back in and continue to healing the things we didn't heal in this lifetime.
Hmm.
So this is one of my gifts to you out there is that I'm going to heal me to the best of my ability so that my grandchildren have a clear path and they don't have to pick up all the unhealed parts of myself and have to walk forward and heal them, that they will have a clear path ahead.
Oh, wow. And I feel like I'm still on my healing journey too. Like I feel I don't know. I gain every single episode that I do. I just gain a piece of knowledge and I'm using it towards my everyday life. Like my healing journey, I feel like it's nonstop, but I just know that one day I'm just gonna be right here. And then all my healings, my kids, my grandkids won't have to deal with those because I fully healed myself and accepted my journey, my life, where I've gotten and where I've gotten to now, you know? Yeah, thank you. I was gonna ask you that. I
Well,
was like, what can the younger generation do for themselves to create more balance and more harmony in their lives? A little piece of knowledge for them and their journey to heal.
for our youth today, they're disconnected from the family. They're all stuck on technology. They're all
Hmm.
stuck in video games. They're all stuck in iPads, iPhones. One day, those will be taken away because the great big spider web that goes around Mother Earth is going to be gone. That was
Yeah.
prophesized. It'll come, but it'll also go again. And when that happens, then our children will be connected to the Mother Earth again, and they'll be connected to the ancestors again. But
Hmm.
until then, as young mothers and young fathers, don't give them a babysitter of the iPad or the iPhone. Take them outside and walk them on the land. Show them the plants. Tell them
Hmm.
this medicine's good for sores, or this medicine's good for teeth. And share the language with them, because here in Scotland they say we're losing our linguists. My uncle was one of the greatest linguists in our community, and I just lost him. So I speak some of my language, but not as much as I want to. So
Yeah.
I know they have teachers in right from nursery right up into till grade 12, but it's a matter of each individual child of wanting to learn that.
Yeah.
And the first time I heard a 7-year-old boy say a prayer in our language, I broke down and cried because it was so beautiful. I could feel what he was saying.
Yeah.
And that's the part that is missing, because when we speak our language, we're connected to all that is. And
Yeah.
when we speak language, it's not there. They say our words are spells, so we've got to be mindful of what we think and what we say. But in our own true traditional languages, it's a prayer all the time when we
Yeah.
speak our language. Yes, so speak our language and reach for the stars, because sometimes our kids, they don't go off the reserves, they stay stuck in the reserves.
Yeah.
There's a bigger world out there to explore, even though COVID came and kept us all in our homes, locked in our homes. But eventually it'll open up again, and there's places that our spirits need to go and need to learn something to bring it back, to teach our people some more. And
Yeah.
it's true, like my teacher told me, sometimes we have to make a great big walk, big circle walk, and come back. And as we walk in that big circle, we pick up and we learn things along the way, and we bring it back home and we share it with our loved ones. And
Hmm.
I believe that in my heart that that's true.
Yeah. For anyone who's going through a hard time right now or is struggling in some way, what message would you have for them?
You're not alone. As I was told, we have thousands of ancestors behind us, as big as a football field. So for the
Yeah.
ones that think they're alone all the time, you're not. Your ancestors sometimes might be trying to connect with you. It may be through a word, or it may be through a song, or it may be through a smell. And right now, our young ones are struggling with grieving. They um, lost the true meaning of grieving, that we don't grieve forever.
Yeah.
We're given 4 days and 4 nights to grieve for the loved one that is making their spirit journey to the other side.
Yeah.
And after that fourth day, we have to let them go. Because if we're going to be stingy and hold on to them, they will stay here and they will keep trying to tell you, you got to let me go, you got to let me go. because the minute you let them go, they're up and they come back as your angel and they will help you.
Yeah.
So part of that message needs to get out there for our young ones today, and for the ones that feel like there's nobody there for them. It's a simple phone call. It's a simple reaching out and knowing or picking up the phone or seeing a number on a piece of paper and phoning that number and saying you need help. I know the hardest thing for anybody to do is to ask for help. It's so scary, but you got to push all that fear away, and you got to find the courage, and you got to just hold your hand out and say, I need help. And for my husband and I, when we see one of our boys, we have had many boys up here on the land, and I see one of them struggling, I'll send them a little message and say, Auntie and Uncle are here. If you need to talk to us, you know where the house is, or you know how to get a hold of us. So, and it's having somebody there that's always encouraging and saying good words, showing them the positive side to the negative side that they're thinking or feeling, and letting them know that there's a sweat lodge here, or there's a ceremony over there. And once we get them grounded, I was going
Yeah.
to share this technique on grounding yourself. So it's simply you close your eyes and you see an energy cord coming through the top of your left side, and it's going right down into your body, and it's going out your left foot, and you see it going straight into Mother Earth. You see it has a core ball about this big down there. It's a beautiful ball. It's rose color, full of love. And you see your energy shooting around her core ball and coming right back up, and it shoots right in through your right side, and then it goes up and it connects with your guides and your ancestors. You take 2 steps and say, I'm grounded. And I'm grounded. I wasn't grounded earlier. So when
No.
you feel like you're airy, when you feel like you're airy and you're not walking on Mother Earth, all you need, because you do this once, all you need to do is step up twice and say, ground me, and it'll go instantly. So
Yeah.
whenever you feel like you're flying or whatever, all you have to do is say ground me and it'll happen real fast. So that's another tool for your toolbox.
Yeah. But I'd like to remind everyone, though, that you are not alone. That to never, ever, ever,
And
there's
you
your,
are good. Yes, you are good enough. You matter. And we love you. And we're here for you. You ever need us, we're
yeah,
here.
yeah, we're always going to be here. We're
Just
always
be
going to
here.
have
Yeah.
someone. Just reach it out.
Yeah.
Um, we're we're coming up to the end of the interview. Are there any last words you'd like to share?
I'd like to let you all know that we're in the works of building a healing house. It's a sister turtle lodge to Dave Corshane's turtle lodge over in Seguin, Manitoba. And so when the turtle lodge gets built, we're going to be able to have ceremony year round, and we're going to be able to help our people year round. And we're eventually going to have little pit houses where people will be able to live in there during the time of our gatherings of workshops or ceremony or just getting together on the land. And we have in the works a youth camp coming up in the summertime. It's not in writing yet, but it'll be from ages 10 always up to 18. So might want to connect with my husband for that. And if you feel your child needs to get out in the land or come up, and a lot of people when they step on off road up into our driveway, they say it feels like they're home, and I always tell them you are home, and don't forget it. So it'll be good to see you all come, and I'll be here, and I'll teach a water ceremony with you if you ever need to go to the water. So that's another really good ceremony that I carry in my pocket, and I share with the ones that I feel they really need it. So love you all. Thank you for listening and watching, and I hope you did the clearing ceremony with us.
Mhm.
And a note of words. When we talk, we say we instead of me, and us instead of them, because we're all one. It's all about all of us and not just a single individual. When we speak for one, we're speaking from ego's mind, and we need to tell them to get out of here and get back to the we, which we are. Coach Diminuta, all my relations.
All my relations. Theresa, I also heard I would about your healing house that you're funding. So if anyone would like to donate, Theresa, would you like to tell where they are able to donate and fund for your healing house?
Yes, we're doing a raffle right now. So if Shane or somebody could put my email on the chat and say Theresa Fenton-Bob at yahoo.com, you can purchase tickets through me for the Healing House. There's $10 for one ticket and $20 for three tickets. So, and we've got tons of prizes. If I knew how, I'd share it on here, but I don't. We've got painted drums, we've got a Chromebook, we've got drum bags, ribbon skirts, and beaded earrings and necklaces, and echo, and just a lot of gifts. So, and if you want to see what we're doing for the Healing House, it's www.wheeloflifesociety.ca. That's where you can look at our healing house, and and we will be meeting on the 18th to go over the starting the building plan for it up here. So love you all. Good to talk to you.
I'm super excited. We have about 8 minutes left, and I'm going to invite April back into the conversation. Um, April, are there any words that you'd like to share?
I just loved it all. Thank you. Thank you so much for all the beautiful things that we believe in. You know, life itself, the journey, Mother Earth, and that we're connected and to watch with our children what comes. There is magic in this world. There is, you know. Because we aren't alone. I went through times in my life where I thought, oh, you know, nobody will find me, but I was always there. Somebody was always there, and they would remind me when I got older and told me, hey, I saw you build a ranch one time, and it was out of sticks. And I went, oh, for goodness sake, you know, I thought nobody knew that. But my ancestors did. They saw me and what I was doing. So everybody, wherever you are, they're watching over you and taking, and hearing when you let it out, or you cry or anything like that. They hear you, and they'll try and help. You know, it's wonderful what can happen. It's
So,
those little things.
I don't mean to interrupt, but are you able just to move your mic a little bit further?
I don't know. I just hear.
Perfect. There we go.
There we
Thank
go.
you. I apologize for interrupting.
No, I don't. From day one, I've had trouble with my mic.
Mm.
Well, I think we all deserve maybe a nice song, huh? And that. So I'm going to sing the Woman's Warrior song because every time I hear that, it lifts me up. All songs lift me up. And that when we sing, when we hear the drumming, what do? You kind of start to move, right? And that. So listen to the songs and listen
Are you
to
able just to move your
music.
mic a little bit further? Sorry, April.
I'm not. I'm just gonna start, okay? So
Okay.
just hang on. So hey, 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 ya, yo, ya, yo, hey, ya, yo, hey, ya, yo, hey, hey, ya, yo. Hey, 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 yeah, yo, hey, hey, yo, yeah, yo, hey, hey, yo, hey, 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 yo, yeah, yo, hey, hey, yo, yeah, yo, hey, hey, yo, hey, yeah, yo, yeah, yo, hey, yo, yeah, yo, hey, yo. Yay! All of us are
That song,
very strong.
Thank you so much
that
for an
song
incredible conversation. This has been with.
is composed by Martina Pierre from Mount Curry.
Mhm. Thank you so much. What an incredible conversation has been with so much wisdom. My heart is full, and I am so grateful for all these teachings. Um, Thank you again so much, April and Theresa, and to everyone watching. Thanks for being a part of the Matriarch Speaks and following the call to listen to the voices of the elders. Remember to join us again next week, every Monday evening at 7:30 as we continue to explore these themes and hear more voices of the matriarchs. Next week, we'll be joined by Emily Henry, so be sure you tune in for that. We would like to give a big thank you to Watari for your ongoing support in developing this program, and a special thanks to our program coordinator, Jessica Hill, and our tech support, Shane Wilson. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for tuning in, and I'll see you next week.